let's talk about how we can have our customers experience our product without ever touching it. So being inside of e-commerce, right? The downside of pure e-commerce is that customers can actually never really touch and feel the product before they buy it. Now, that's obviously a little bit different if you have an in-store experience in addition to your e-commerce. But let's just say in the pure e-commerce sense, the biggest downside is that customers can't touch and feel our products. And so if you think about, when that experience when you bought a car, right, especially a new car, you have the experience of sitting inside of it, and we all know that new car smell, right? They make little hangy things from the rearview mirror that actually have new car smell, right? So that smell is a big part of it. And then you test drive it, and all that creates the emotion that's attached to you actually buying that car. The emotion is a big part of that. And we often say that there's two sides of a cell, right? There's the emotional side of the cell, and there's the logical side of the cell. The emotional side is actually that's the irrational part of your brain that actually makes you want something. And so we can kind of lose that a lot when we just do pure e-commerce, because we lose some of that. We lose those senses. We only have the visual side. We have none of the other senses. And so if we still can't touch and feel it, how can we get a little closer to that? There are ways to blend it, but for the most part, e-commerce brands are typically only using, what is probably a boring photo gallery. And there's a lot better that we can do. And so today, we're going to explore 7 ways that you can get someone closer to that experience of touching your product without them actually touching your product, because, well, they can't. And this is all through your e-commerce website. So let's jump into it. Here are 7 ways that they can experience your product. The first one is the most obvious. It's photography. And so with photography, obviously, everyone should have that at a minimum. And we've actually got several videos and articles and assets about how to take the best photography for e-commerce, for your e-commerce site. But that's something that everyone must have, but it needs to be really, really great. And when I say great, it means great quality, it's great composition of the product, and you really want to have lifestyle photos as well as product photos, right? That means people using your products as well as the product itself. Now, depending on the type of product you have, you may want different types of photography, right? You may want close-ups if your product has specific details that need to be captured and that are important to the buying decision. You may want an example of your product being used, but whatever that is, make sure that your products have really great photography. Now, when you're talking about products in the grid, especially on the collection page, it's important that your product photography is uniform, right? And so we typically would say, at the least, make sure that your hero photo, the first photo that you have in your product gallery, is a uniform photo, so that customers can see that in a grid and have that, and not be really confusing and overwhelming and just messy. And that's typically even on white for most people. But anyway, that's photography. And we all know photography. That is a big part of the product buying experience. The second one is videos. Now, we all know videos, and we all know we should use videos, but the truth is videos are not often utilized that much on the product detail page in the buying experience. And that's a big miss. You might have the experience of looking at a product and trying to go buy a product, and then going to YouTube and trying to find videos of people unboxing that product and using that product, or comparing it with other competitive products. Why not have those videos on your site? Why not give that experience to your customers on your site? So let's make sure that we're utilizing videos really, really well, and we're communicating what can't be communicated in a photo, those product details, through really great videos of that product on the product detail page. So those are 2 obvious ones and probably underutilized ones. And if you just do that better, you'll probably be better off. Now let's get into the third way that we can help people experience this product, and that's augmented reality. Now, augmented reality is often less used It takes some technology hurdles to get there, and those are getting easier and easier. But it is an up and coming way, and it has a lot of potential. This is kind of where you can take your phone or your connected device, and you can actually, the customer can actually see your product in the room or on the desk or in an environment, and they can't touch it, but they can see the dimensions of it. They can see, what it would kind of look like, especially inside of their life or their experience, whatever they have in front of them, their desk or their room. Now, this may be more useful when you have products like furniture or products that have spacing requirements, where you might want to see, the customer want to see if it fits in the place that they're actually looking to put it. So depending on your product, this actually may have more uses, but this is a valid thing that we should look at as brands to try and utilize that really, really, really well. Now, the next thing, this is number 4, is a virtual salesperson. And this is a really cool, fun one that I haven't seen many brands utilize, but there are some interesting technologies that facilitate this. This is the idea of having someone available to do a video call on your product detail page about a specific product. It's like a virtual salesperson. And so a customer can come to your product detail page and they can click on maybe another icon, and they actually bring up a video call, and a salesperson actually talks to them and shows them the product, talks to them about any questions they may have. They may compare it with other products. This is a really interesting way to bring that customer experience virtually when they can't touch and feel it. And I think there's a lot of interesting, creative ways that brands can utilize this, especially if you have a product line that maybe is complex. Maybe someone is not sure, maybe the decision-making process of what specific product in your line is best for them. Maybe that's not easy. And a salesperson or someone to talk to and actually show them the product may be one of the ways to get yourself there a little bit better. And so that's a fun one. Next one is sort of similar, but it's like a level down. So I'm calling it a virtual walkthrough. And this is the idea of having a static video on your website, like one of the other videos that we just talked about, but a static video of a salesperson or someone on your team showing off that product so that the customer can kind of virtually be sold to or be shown all the different details of the product and how it works and some of those things, but they're not actually talking to them live. And so it's kind of a static, not live on-demand version of the virtual salesperson. And it has a lot of opportunity there because, again, you get the opportunity to talk to someone, which is important in selling to somebody, and also show them the various aspects of your product that probably wouldn't be communicated in just the text on your product detail page or the product photos, the videos, etc. All right, the next one, number 6, is unboxings and social proof and influencers and those kind of things. We all know the power of unboxings. And there's a whole social community around that. There are people that have built massive social followings just around that concept. So if people are going out and looking for that on YouTube, why not offer that on your website, right? Why not bring that unboxing experience to your own site and maybe even on the product detail page? It's a way to increase engagement on your site. So you could think about having reviews and unboxing video section of your own site. Again, if people like watching other people unbox products, which maybe I don't even get, but they get that thrill, right? That emotion attached to opening something up. Why not give it to them on your site with your product rather than have them go to somewhere like YouTube to try and find that type of stuff? The last one here is virtual try-on. And now this may not be right for every type of product, but it's sort of a version of the augmented reality, right? The virtual try-on is often for things that you need to wear. So this may be clothing. It can be things like obviously glasses and other accessories. And for those type of products, it can be really helpful in selling those products because you can actually see, I don't know if you've ever bought a pair of glasses online, But when you have a really good virtual try-on, it actually helps you make a decision whether or not these glasses look good on you, or whether or not they look really goofy on you, right? And it's better that that decision is made there than you actually buying it and then returning it, because then now the brand has this return rate, right? And so for certain products, it can decrease your return rate as a brand, and it can be a win-win for both you and your customers. And so just again, the type of product you have, think about that as an option in order to create that customer experience. And so it's just to wrap this up, like I said before, e-commerce is great. We love e-commerce. It is, I think, the most powerful channel out there as far as a sales channel is concerned. But it has some downsides, and one downside is that you don't get to touch it if you're a customer. You don't get to touch the product. You don't get to experience the product the way you would if you were in the same room with it and trying it out. And so let's do things as direct-to-consumer e-commerce brands on our e-commerce channel. Even if we have a store, let's do things on our e-commerce store to actually improve that customer experience, to bring the reality of someone touching and feeling something closer and closer to the surface, which will then increase our conversion rate and just make our customers' lives really, really easy, or a lot easier. And so just to kind of wrap up, look, if you need help improving your e-commerce experience and growing your business, we help some of the biggest brands in the world do that, and we'd love to talk to you. So reach out to us at Medicaid.com.